In this series, Jack and I will each open one booster box from a Sun and Moon expansion, then we'll each build a deck entirely from those pulls and battle it out in a best of 3 series. The winner gets bragging rights for the week and a point on the scoreboard, while the loser gets to add some extra cards into their deck, giving them a boost into the following week. A new expansion will be introduced each episode, increasing our card pool, diversifying our strategies, and hopefully strengthening our decks. This is the OmniPoke Progression Series.
So Joe and I have just finished our Guardians Rising Progression Week battle. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to take the victory again, so we do at least get another spin on the the loser's wheel. You can see I've got Tapu Lele GX here, one of those, 2 Lily, 2 Ultra Ball, and 1 Alolan Ninetales GX. Just gone for some, hopefully, consistency options. Lele obviously searching supporters. 2 more supporters in Lily, I think that's basically my biggest issue right now. 2 more Ultra Balls, just because they're universally good cards. And 1 Alolan Ninetales GX, just because it will mean that I can lean into Alolan Vulpix a little bit more. So let's spin the wheel, see where we land. We're going to land on the Alolan Ninetales. Okay, not too upset with that. I think it's a decent Pokemon to have. We've got a lot of double colours energy to be able to use the attack if we evolve into it. It means that it opens up the lines, then we can use Alolan Vulpix to help set up. So yeah, pretty happy with that one. So we get to add an Alolan Ninetales GX into our deck, which is great.
So we come to week 3, Burning Shadows, an iconic set. This was one that was released just before Worlds, of course, and in the finals was Gardevoir EX from this set up against Golisopod Garbodor, another new card from the set. So those are immediately 2 standout cards. I do think they're kind of better just having multiple copies of them, so they may not immediately be great into my deck, but I think if you pick up 2 Golisopod, you're in really good shape. It's also really important for me to keep an eye on Grass as a type coverage, because Jack was playing Lycanrocs last week, and I think he's probably going to play them again. Going into next week, I see no reason for him to not do that. It's gusting, it's great damage output on a GX attack. It's all just good things going into the deck. Outside of these GXs, Ho-Oh's interesting, because I did go Fire last week, and Ho-Oh plus Turtonator and Kiawe from the set could be pretty interesting. Salazzle could be a late-game bomb as well, doing 50x to the amount of prizes you've taken. Outside of that, though, I'm seeing kind of clunkier ones. Marshadow, nothing great to copy just yet. Darkrai can self-accelerate a bit, but its damage output isn't all that good, and we don't have great Dark Acceleration. Finny can have that annoying GX attack, but otherwise not that powerful. Yeah, I don't think the strength of this set is going to be the GXs themselves, unless we hit multiple Gardevoir or multiple Golisopod. Where this set is absolutely bonkers is in the supporter category, because we are gaining Guzma. So in the last couple of weeks, Jack at least had Lycanroc, but I've been on catchers for 2 weeks. But this completely changes the dynamic of the format based on how many Guzma we both draft. I think it means that now setup Pokemon just in general, setup decks in general, are really under fire. And I played a stage 2 last week. I feel like I basically can't do that going into this week, because they'll just get picked off with Lycanrocs and Guzmas now. So that completely changes the game all around. And also, tanking is just more easy as well. Ace Roller alongside Max Potion that we had from last week just means we have even more ways to do some healing tanking shenanigans. The only awkward thing is that it's way harder to be a stage 2 deck. I think now I'd have to go candy based rather than slow evolving, and we still don't have much of a great draw engine to sort of fall back on to make that happen. So it's going to be a really interesting dynamic to sort of pull things together. Shouldn't be sleeping on Kiawe, of course. Again, I have 1 Turtonator to my name right now, so if I get more basic fire stuff, or even with Salazzle, this could be, of course, a deck. It was a deck in Standard. Unfortunately, as for draw power, not too much help. Maybe I play a couple Sophocles in the deck, but I don't think I'll be adding much in terms of consistency this week. Sticking to that theme of disruption and bench control, there's also Escape Rope coming in this set, which is just even more ways to push things out the way. So the Tauros that I played in week 1 are far less usable, and the stage 2s that I played in week 2 also far less usable. So I'm kind of terrified that I need to pull some good GXs this week. Most notably, I'm really hoping for either a number of Ho-Oh and Salazzle or Golisopod, because without those, I think I'm in a bad spot. Also worth noting, a couple big tools. The Dumbbells could be huge for some stage 1 decks. I know that could be really helpful for Jack if he's going to be playing Lycanrocs again. And the Baton could be huge for a fire-based deck if I end up going down that direction again. With that said, let's get into our 3rd week.
First pack has a Guzma though, which is great. Wimpod is an upgrade on the Wimpod we have. And Diancie is a nice one for if we do end up going down the Gardevoir line. Got another Guzma and Escape Rope. That's great. Got a Tapu Fini GX as our first GX. Another Racer Roller too. Tapu Fini's not bad. Kind of hard to accelerate to this, considering we didn't pull any Aqua Patch, which is a real shame, because we could be Hydro-shotting turn after turn, which would have been great, but even so, we could potentially still find a way of weaving this into the deck. A Machamp GX, again, I'm not overly enthused about Machamp. I think we have more efficient fighting Pokemon already in Lycanroc.
Our first GX Pokemon is a Rainbow. It's the Necrozma GX. I don't think this one's going to be too helpful for a long time, especially because I didn't get any Metagross from last week. At least we got some Ralts, Curlier, and Wimpods, though. That's helpful. Our first Guzma, at least. That's nice.
Got another Machamp. Okay, again, not overly fussed about the Machamp, but maybe we'll be forced into or backed into a corner to playing a Machamp GX deck.
We hit our next GX. It's another Rainbow. It's the Lycanroc, not the one you're thinking of. In fact, this is the Crunch and Accelerock Lycanroc. Maybe I end up using this card. I think maybe I have to start thinking about having a hammer strategy to combat Jack stuff, because really still not much from these packs.
Another Ninetales is an interesting one. I actually will be playing this probably if we end up going down the Ninetales route, just because Joe's deck was pretty much full of GX attackers this week. Obviously, there was the Chandelure, but this one of inclusion could actually be really strong for buying some time. And Aurora Beam 3 for 110, 3 for 80 and 110 HP isn't actually that bad either. So yeah, I'm not too opposed to actually playing some Luminous Barrier. Another Machamp, okay. I really don't want to have to play Machamp. We can make it work. Another Dumbbells, another Guzma, that's good. A load of Muck GX. Again, I'm not actually too upset with this one. I think it's a half decent option that we may be able to use Sophocles in there as well. Darkrai GX, again, don't think it's too strong, unfortunately. At least has energy acceleration and can recover itself, can discard it early, but yeah, not too strong overall, unfortunately.
Ooh, we actually hit a Golisopod GX. That's really, really cool. That's powerful, and I think I could go back now towards a grass route, have Decidueye, Golisopod, and Lurantis in my deck as kind of a core. That's something that I'm working towards, so really happy to pick this up.
Did get a Golisopod GX, that's good. I don't know whether one is enough for us to build around it, unfortunately, but we've still got 6 packs left if we can find another one. I could see us building like a Golisopod Lycanroc deck, maybe that could be good, or a Golisopod Ninetales deck, something like that. So yeah, that could be interesting.
Wow, we're getting all the rainbows. We hit the Rainbow Darkrai GX as well, Restoration. I don't think this is going to be that fantastic, but it would give me a really dangerous GX attack option if I splashed in some Dark Energy.
We did get a Gardevoir GX again. I don't think one is going to be strong enough to build around, unfortunately, but we can potentially see if we get another one. We did get another Golisopod. Okay, another Golisopod is good. Golisopod, like I say, I think is probably the best, or the GX I was the most interested in the set. So that's good. Again, I'm really worried about Joe playing Fire, though. So maybe it's not as good as I first thought.
And our last pack is a Alolan Muck GX. A really weird week for me overall. Getting that 2-1 Golisopod GX, I think, is probably the only thing that makes anything into a new deck this week, to be honest with you. Not many powerful Pokemon, to be honest. I'm also pretty terrified. We got the Acerolas, but we only got one Guzma, so that's gonna be a tough one for us to figure out. Jack is gonna have way more gusting than us, I would imagine. He's very likely to get at least one Guzma, and he already has those 2 Lycanroc GX, so that's something that I really have to worry about. I at least had Escape Rope, so I'm gonna be playing those in high count. So I feel like it's gonna be a Dumbbells, Golisopod, Lurantis deck from my first impression, but I'll get back to you in terms of deck building.
How do I feel? The 3 Machamp GXs is pretty grief. 2 for 120 is nice, but it's just a stage 2 that doesn't do a whole lot. Daunting Pose would stop the strats that Joe was using for like placing damage camps this week, which is quite interesting. I feel like we have to use Ninetales to an extent, so that's going to lock us into Water Energy. We could run a relatively similar deck to last week, just using Ninetales instead of like the Persimmons maybe. The Persimmons were okay, but they were just okay. I never wanted my bench to be full of them because I wanted multiple Lycanrocs and stuff. Golisopod's an interesting one. We could play an element of Golisopod in there as well and just play Rainbows. But again, I'm really concerned about Joe playing Fire again, so I don't know how strong that will be. Did get 4 Acerola, did get 4 Guzma. How many Sophocles? We did get 4 Sophocles. Again, it sounds silly, but I'm actually pretty happy with that. I think our core of Brooklet Hill is still so strong that we have to commit to that. I feel like we need to play some EXP shares. Okay, I think I can make something work.
Right, I've been sat here deliberating over this deck list for a long time. I am going to be landing on this 60. Thanks to the Golisopod GX pickup, we can go for a pretty low-to-the-ground approach where I have Lurantis and Golisopod. If Jack continues to use the Lycanroc GX part of his deck from the previous week, I obviously gain some great type coverage, which I think is pretty important. But just in general, Golisopod and Lurantis are decent cards. I have the Lapras GX that I pulled in week 1 in the deck as well. This is trying to block Jack's Escape Ropes, essentially. It's a 190 hit point Pokemon I can throw into the active, and because I drafted 4 Acerola, hopefully I can sponge a hit, waste his turn essentially by going into the Lapras and then picking it back up again, but also because Flower Supply can attach energy, just any coloured energy, I'm also going to have the option to maybe get the Blizzard Burn in if need be. The Ice Beam GX is there, but Paralysis isn't that good. Maybe I combine it with an Illimer and it higher rolls me in the right situation. But because there's Acerola, Guzma, Rope, Switch in the format now, I feel like Jack's going to have answers to that. But at the very least, it's a panic option play. It's probably going to be the Crossing Cut GX, which is our best option in here, just the 150, and then also try and protect Duck Golisopod. That's going to be important. But really, we're just leaning into good old Acerola. This is really, really strong with our 2 Stage 1 Pokemon. I only got 2 Wimp Out Wimpods, so I'm having to play one of the Scamper Away ones, which is terrible, because this has 2 Retreat, and that actually blocks my early access to Vulpix. Another reason why I went for Lapras over the Turtonator, which is my other basic GX tanky option, because the Tauros aren't really tanks when Jack's playing a lot of fighting stuff like Persimmon and Lycanroc, at least from the previous week. So the other option was Turtle, but I'm going Lapras because it's also likely if Jack plays those similar cards that he'll play Brooklet Hill. So I now have Vulpix Lapras. I have Sudowoodo in the deck because he has way better ability Pokemon than I do, with Slush Rush, with Oranguru, with Lycanroc as well, and even with those Persimmon. I think Roadblock is worthwhile, but I'm also playing the Innards Out Pyukumuku, also from week 1. If this is KO'd, you put 6 counters on the attacking Pokemon. Maybe that can set up some of the damage for us as well. A lot of the time, Glisopod's going to be hitting that 120 threshold, which isn't that good unless I am hitting for that weakness, so a little bit worried there. I've also got the Alolan Rattata. I've got a lot of wacky stuff in this list, I'll be honest. This is the one that I'm least confident in terms of decks and week to week, because I think Jack's deck probably is going to another level with some of these new item and supporter style cards, whereas I don't think mine gets that much better. The Rat is just the highest hit point free retreat basic that I have access to, so that when I am using these Acerolas and Ropes and Switches, I can just go to the Rat and go back into the pod, is the idea, just free retreat back out. So yeah, bit of a wacky one. I've tried to make as much space as possible just to have Enhanced and Crushing Hammer, because I think these are actually really big deals when Jack has all those DCEs, and even just the energy attack cost of his Lycanroc, sometimes even the Crushing Hammer can be huge. This is all under the assumption that he plays a very similar deck to the previous week and just has upgrades in the supporter slots. That's what I would imagine is going to happen, because his deck really doesn't get that much stronger unless he pulls a ton of GXs from Burning Shadow. So I'm hoping that his deck stays quite similar and I can have somewhat of a counter strategy going into this week, because I don't think I have an inherently strong strategy available to me outside of just Golisopod plus Acerola is good, and we hope for the best.
So this is what I've decided to go for this week. We're still using the Lycanroc line and the Alolan Sandslash line, but given that we were able to get an Alolan Ninetales GX off of the prize wheel, I've gone for a Vulpix and Ninetales line added in as well. Beacon should be really helpful for trying to set up these powerful Pokemon, which is good, really helping get us into our draw engine as well as our gusting. Ninetales is obviously just a great sniping Pokemon, and then the non-GX Ninetales has Luminous Barrier, which could be an issue for Joe. There's also a lot of good fire-type Pokemon in this set, so I could see Ninetales potentially being a bit of a roadblock. Obviously, this set does introduce Guzma, so Joe can get around Ninetales, but could potentially create some kind of checkmate situation, or at least buy us some turns and force Joe to use like a less than optimal attacker. Did have things like the shady move Chandelure, but that's why we've got the Acerola to help out with that as well, which is quite nice. And obviously we can recycle the Ninetales to try and cause some issues as well. Yeah, other than that, we've got a couple more draw supporters in Sophocles. These aren't particularly strong. I'm not overly enthused about them just because you have to discard resources, which I don't like. But we have got a couple of rescue stretchers and an energy retrieval in here, so we are able to get back some cards that we discard, which is important. Still would really like some more lilies and stuff, but hey ho. We've got the Ace Roller and we've got 2 Guzma as well. Obviously we've got great gusting in Lycanroc already, but having some Guzma just allows us to be able to play the Lycanrocs, I guess, a bit more aggressively, not necessarily use their effect, or be able to technically reuse their effect with Guzmas later on as well. Yeah, other than that, nothing too different. The only other thing that I wanted to point out is obviously the EXP share and multi-switches. I think they're a bit better than I first gave credit for, and EXP share definitely. I really missed EXP share last week. I really felt the pain of being a deck that can only attach 1 per turn but has 2 energy attack costs was quite awkward. So I definitely like the EXP shares just for trying to bank some extra energy for Claw Slashes later on, or maybe even late game Blizzard Edge, stuff like that. but also the multi-switch. I like this in combination with the Mallows that we have, to be able to set up maybe attackers out of nowhere. We obviously didn't see them last week, so won't be expecting them. But yeah, we can like tutor these out with Mallow, which is quite nice. We can use like multi-switch in combination with Acerola if we've maybe moved something to the bench to still have access to the energy, and then Acerola it up to try and heal some damage and stuff like that. So I feel like things are getting a little bit more techie here and there. I think we had some consistency issues last week, which I'm still a bit worried about. But at the end of the day, we don't have, like, we could add some great balls, I suppose, but I think adding Beacon really helps with that. And ultimately, like, I've added in supporters where we can. I've added in 5 supporters, took out a couple of Illimas, but added in, at the end of the day, I guess 2 draw supporters and 3 other supporters, which will hopefully help us at least do something every turn. Have to wait and see. We'll see how this goes. And yeah, hopefully we can get a little bit further than we did last week with the deck.
So, Jack, it is Burning Shadows time. The episodes are coming thick and fast. How did you find this last week?
Interesting. I think this is a really cool set, actually. I feel like this goes under the radar a little bit compared to Guardians Rising, but this is a really, really big set. Couple of key supporters, some really interesting GXs, interestingly some good fire GXs, so it was in the back of my mind the whole time whether you might be getting like just straight upgrades or like that was a natural path for you to go on, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think this is a set that actually, regardless of the fire stuff that you were already playing, I think there's a decent chance that you could build a fire deck just from this set regardless.
That's true as well.
Which is also quite interesting. Kiawe is obviously a huge card, especially in a format like this where you can't really consistently punish things like that as well. Early Sun and Moonblock was very, very powerful.
And I'm really hoping that we don't have to flip as many coins this time for Pokemon captures. I'm hoping there's some more guarantees this series, which actually adds a new dynamic just to evolution in general. So let's get straight into it, shall we? Do you want to call the flip?
Tails for me, please.
It's a heads.
A last-minute heads.
I'll get us started.
And good luck to you.
Good luck to you. I am going to draw for my turn with a Wimpod.
With a Wimpod, that is.
In my active position. I'm going to bench a Pyukumuku.
Yeah, love that.
And I'm going to Wimp out.
Love that.
I'm also going to attach to my Wimpod.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to pass the turn over to you.
I'm going to start things off with a Howl for 3 cards.
Lovely.
I play a Brooklet down, and I will indeed use Brooklet Hill. Okay, I'm going to get myself a Rockruff. Going to be going back in with Beacon in a second. Going to bench a Sandshrew.
The usual suspects.
Yeah, as you can see, I've... well, I don't think I've played a Burning Shadows card yet, but don't worry about that. That's fine.
Out. Yeah.
Certainly don't rule that out. That could be coming at any point. I'm going to attach a Fighting Energy here to the Rockruff. And I'm going to use Beacon. Get myself a Lycanroc and a Sandslash.
Understandable. I'll draw.
Now, things could go wrong here quite quickly.
I'm going to attempt a Brooklet Hill.
I'm going to read Pyukumuku real quick.
You're joking. I'm going to grab a Lapras GX. I'm going to attach to Lapras GX. I'm going to throw a Crushing Hammer into the mix. These are back from episode 1. Yeah.
Less coin flips, he said.
Less. I am going to play a Guzma onto your Sandshrew. Yeah. And then I'll simply use Collect with Lapras for 3 cards.
Collect, will you? Okay. I'm going to draw for turn. I'm going to start with a Brooklet Hill. Getting another Sandshrew out. And evolve into a Sand Slash of the Alolan variety.
Yeah.
I'm going to evolve into a Ninetales GX.
Okay.
Going to play a Switch into the Ninetales. Going to Ultra Ball away, a Water Energy, and an Acerola. Get everyone's favourite Guru down.
Yeah, more draw power.
More of that there. And then I'm going to play an Illima. You might remember this card, Joe.
Delicious.
Yeah, as expected, that'll be 3 cards for me there. Okay, that's fine though. We did get a Rockruff, which is great. I actually think I will play the Lycanroc on the Wimpod, please, and I'll instruct for 2. Okay, I will Slush Rush for a further card. I'm going to play a second Switch.
Mm.
I'm going to attach a fighting energy, and I'm going to use my GX move,
Wow.
my GX attack, for a prize card.
There it is.
Dangerous Rogue.
I will play a Howl for 3 cards. I'm going to pop down Roadblock Pseudo Wudo.
Oh.
So you must remove one of these treats.
Remove one of my great
One of your
team.
many teammates.
Let's get rid of the Ninetales.
An unexpected outcome, Jack. I'll be the first to admit that. I'm going to bench a Fomantis.
Sorry, how many things do we have going on in this deck? Okay.
It's a smorgasbord. I'll be the first. I'll be the first to admit it. I'm going to attach a Grass Energy to the Fomantis, and I'll collect for 3 cards.
Play a Timer Ball. Okay, just the one. I'm going to get a Lycanroc GX, and I will evolve and cast up the Fomantis. We can attach a Water Energy, here, and draw a card with Instruct first. I'm then going to play a Howl, 3 cards. I'm then going to Slush Rush. Gonna Ultra Ball away these 2, or another Slush Rush. Slush Rush number 2. I'm going to attach an EXP share to this Lycanroc, and I will Claw Slash for the knockout.
I'll go into Lapras. I'll draw. I'm going to Ultra Ball away a Switch and a Lurantis GX. And I'm going to find the lesser-known Scamper Away Wimpod in this case. I'm going to be benching that.
Yeah, love that.
I'm then going to attach to Lapras, and I'll collect again.
Draw for turn. I'm going to Slush Rush once. Going to Slush Rush again. I'm going to play Sophocles.
A welcome addition.
To draw 4. Oh, you have no idea how excited I was about these Sophocles, Joe. Wonderful. Okay, I'm going to attach a double colourless energy here.
Ah, I see.
And I'm just going to use Claw Slash.
For 110. I will draw.
Yeah.
I'm going to Ultra Ball away a Rainbow Energy.
Yeah.
As well as a
Say so.
Grass Energy. And I'm going to grab a Golisopod GX. I'm going to evolve into Golisopod GX. Going to attach to Golisopod GX. I'm going to play an Acerola. And I'll be moving into a Golisopod GX.
Yeah.
I'm also going to bench a Rattata.
Okay.
I'm going to Enhanced Hammer the double colourless.
Yeah, I would.
I'll also bench Lapras GX. And then I'll First Impression.
Yeah. I'll move a fighting energy onto the Lycanroc, and we will just go into the Lycanroc.
Okay.
I'm going to Brooklet Hill for a Vulpix, and then Slush Rush once, Slush Rush again, play a Professor Kukui,
Yeah.
2 cards. We'll attach a double colourless here,
Yeah.
and we'll Claw Slash for 110. Sorry, 130.
I will draw. I'll play a Howl for 3. I'll play a Rescue Stretcher for 1 target. And it's going to be a Wimpod. I'll bench the Wimpod. I'll play a switch into my Alolan Rattata. I'll attach a water to Lapras.
Yeah.
I'll free retreat. And I'll First Impression.
Yeah. Oh, with the Guru. I'll draw a card. Brooklet Hill, and I'll fail it.
Okay.
I will Sand Slash number 1, Sand Slash number 2, Stretcher 3 targets, Vulpix. And then Mallow, I'll attach here, I'll evolve here, and I will pass to you.
Yeah. Okay. I'll draw. I'm going to play a Crushing Hammer. I will Acerola the active. I'll bench Wimpod. I will attach to Lapras. I'll free retreat. And I'll just collect.
Slush Rush number 1, I will Brooklet, I will Slush Rush number 2, I'll attach a double colourless energy, I will Guzma the rat.
The threat, yes. The threat.
Obviously.
The threat, yes.
And I will Aura Beam for the knockout.
I'll promote Pukumuku, and I'll draw. I'll Howl for 3 cards. I'll play an Escape Rope.
Sand Slash.
I'll go Lapras. I'll attach to Lapras. I'll Enhanced Hammer the bench. I'll Rescue Stretcher my Rattata. I will just Blizzard Burn for the KO.
I will Brooklet. It's going to be a 1 in 6 to draw this DCE here. I will Slush Rush for 1 card. Oh, I am a genius. I will attach a double colourless energy. Stretcher 3 targets.
Sure.
Pair of Vulpix.
Yeah.
And I will Aurora Beam for 80.
I will drop. I'm going to Ultra Ball away a Wimpod and a Alolan Vulpix. I'll evolve into Golisopod GX. I will Acerilla, the active. I'm going to go into Pyukumuku.
Yeah.
I'm going to attach to it.
Yeah.
For I have prepared for this eventuality.
Yeah.
I will Continuous Tumble 30 until I get Tails. 30. 60. 90. And that's 90 damage.
Yeah. Okay, I will Slush Rush. I'll pay Retreat into Rockruff. I will evolve into Lycanroc and bring up the Golisopod. Attach here. Use a multi-switch.
Very cool.
Attach here. And I will Claw Slash.
I will drop. I do have a switch. And a Grass Energy.
Yeah.
And I can retreat and first impression for game 1. Unironically, the Pyukumuku is in the deck as an answer to that Ninetales. Didn't quite expect the 3 heads, but there you go. Good luck to you.
You too. Don't forget your Mulligan card.
I certainly won't, thanks.
I'll draw a card. I'll play a Rockruff. I'll attach a double colourless energy, and I will pass to you.
I'll use a Howl for 3 cards. I will Nest Ball, and I'll grab Fomantis and play it on the bench. I'll attach a Water Energy here, and I'll just collect for 3 cards.
Draw. Attach a double colourless energy to Rockruff, and I'm going to Beacon. I'll get these 2.
Okay. I'm going to Ultra Ball away a Water and a Grass Energy. I'll grab Lurantis, I'll evolve, and I'll attach, and I'll play Escape Rope. I'm going to pop down Sudowoodo, and then I'll just Flower Supply for the KO.
Yeah.
And 1 on the active and 1 on the bench.
Okay, I will bench a Sandshrew. I guess I will evolve into Ninetales.
Yeah.
I will Timer Ball. Okay, I will pass.
I'll Nest Ball. I'll grab a Wimpod. I'll bench another Wimpod. I'm going to attach a Grass Energy to Sudowoodo, and I'll pass to you.
I will evolve into Slandslash, and I will Slush Rush for 1. I will switch, and then I will Guzma the Roadblock. I'll attach a Water. I will Aurora Veil for the KO.
I'll bench Rattata, and I'm going to play an Ilima. I'll just collect.
Okay, I'll draw. Okay, I will Timer Ball. Bench a Guru, and I will Instruct for 1. Bench a Vulpix and attach EXP Share. I will Slush Rush for 1. A Brooklet for a Rockruff, and I will Aurora Beam for 80.
I will play a Guzma onto Rockruff. I'm going to Rescue Stretcher, and I'm going to grab Sudowoodo. I'll attach a Rainbow Energy to him, and then I'll just Flower Supply for the KO.
I will Instruct for 1. Sophocles for 4. I will Slush Rush for 1, and I will Aurora Beam.
I'm going to Ultra Ball, get rid of Vulpix and Fomantis. I'll grab Golisopod. I'm going to attach a Bodybuilding Dumbbells to my active, if it will let me, and then I'll play Ilima. And then I'll pass.
Okay, I will draw. I will Slush Rush once. Bench of Vulpix. Attach a double colourless. And yeah, I will just Aurora Beam for 80.
I'm going to Acerilla the active. And then I'll Brooklet Hill. I'll get Pyukumuku. I'll attach to Sudowoodo. And I'll retreat into it. And I'll Rock Throw for 40.
I'll draw. I will Slush Rush for 1. I think I'll just Aurora Beam for the knockout.
I'm going to play a Crushing Hammer. Let's remove the water. And then I'm going to Acer Roller up Lapras. And I'll attach a water to my Pukimuku. I'm going to bench Formantis. I'll retreat into Puke. And I'm going to Continuous Tumble. 30. Just 30.
Draw. Slush Rush 1. Play Brooklet. Or I'll use Brooklet, sorry. Well, Stretcher 2, I guess. 2 Rockruffs.
The boys.
And then I will Nest Ball one of them out. Play Guzma on the Golisopod. Evolve into Ninetales GX. And knock out the Route.
Oh. Cold-hearted.
Ice Blade.
I'm going to play a Howl. I will evolve. I'll play a Switch. I'll attach a Grass and a Bodybuilding Dumbbells just to really enhance my physique. And then I'll Flower Supply for the 40. And I'm just going to load up on the active.
Ultra Ball away. A few Brooklets.
It's a lot of Brooklet Hills. The Beacon Engine. Well, actually, your whole deck. Yeah, good point.
The whole deck.
It's a whole thing.
I will Slush Rush. I will Lycanroc Golisopod. I'll attach a Fighting Energy to Lycanroc. And then I'll play an Illiva.
Oh boy.
Nice. And I will do a 50 snipe to Lurantis.
I'll play Switch. I'll attach. Oh, Chlorocyph GX.
That, okay, wasn't meant to happen. I'll draw. I'll Slush Rush. I'll Brooklet. I get a Rockruff. I'll attach an EXP share to Lycanroc. I'll Howl for 3. And I will Aurora Beam for 80.
It's really coming down to it, this one. I'm going to play a Crushing Hammer. No, I'll get rid of the water. Sorry. I'll play a Switch. And we're going to Continuous Tumble. For 0.
I'll draw. I'll Slush Rush once. How many in hand, sorry?
I have 3. We're in quite the spot, aren't we? You and I.
Yeah. This is not good. Okay, I'm going to Ace Roller the active. Okay, here. Bench of Vulpix. Evolve into Ninetales. Attach double colourless. Yeah, Lycanroc Lurantis.
He's gambling. He's gambling. I do not have game. So that's good. For you, I'll grab Lapras. I'll retreat. I'll just attach and collect.
I'll draw. I'll Slush Rush.
Here we go again.
I'll Sophocles. I'll attach a water. And I will Claw Slash.
Unfortunately, you cannot dodge me forever. I do have Grass Acerola for the old first impression. I've successfully countered your deck this week.
Yeah, turns out weakness is really good, actually.
Yeah.
I have one out.
I was super aware of this card, and it's exactly why Pukimuki's in my deck, actually. Which is so embarrassing to say that this was my best answer. But it was either this, or I cut the entire Lapras package and just played Garb and Rainbows. I thought it would be quite funny to bring Golly Garb to the event, but I went down this route instead. Just because I knew you would play Brooklet, so I could get it for me and just have it.
Yeah.
And I think its numbers line up really nicely with like a lot of the other stuff I have as well. Just as a I'm passing kind of guy.
So my packs went a lot better this week in terms of numbers. I think I got like 9 or 10 GXs, which were great. But unfortunately,
the week GXs are bad. You got loads.
Well, I was super clogged with Machamps. So, yeah, that was great.
You'll see this anyway in the video, but I pulled just the one of these.
Yeah, brilliant.
So that's a keeper. He's getting shuffled right in.